Whoops. There we go. Anyways, sorry about that. Whoops. There we go. Alt tabbing. What you're here, ready to get back into some more Assassin's Creed. Last I checked, I think I was like 22% done with the game. Still got a ways to go. It's that Notre Dame giveaway version of the game. I'm not sure if they're still giving it out. Oh boy, you hear Lincoln screaming in the background. Jeez, I'm still 22%. I thought I would have progressed a couple percent more, but whatever. I must have not done much. I'll have to rewatch my last stream to see what I did. Those kids are crazy back there. Their birthdays are coming up here soon. On the 20th. It's right around the corner. Gonna go to the pool, have a birthday party there. Come on, game, load. Loading, 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 loading. Sorry, I gotta kill the game bar. That's probably one of the reasons I'm lagging around here a little bit. Apologies for that. Jeez. It's rough. Alrighty, let's get Task Manager up here. Let's see, go down here and I don't need that up, don't need that up, don't need the Windows Store up, don't need movies. Oops, I didn't mean to kill the NVIDIA container. Hopefully that doesn't cause an issue. I probably did need that up right now, but oh well. I'll survive. If my macro deck stops working, it stops. Here we go. I guess my character failed to load because I was alt tabbed. Alright, so I solved this problem the other day by Jesus. Hold on one sec. Alright, so what did I have? What did I have? Tongue twisting. And 1 cup of coffee is not enough in the morning. 1.5 isn't either. I don't remember what I had going on the other day. I think I had just completed a murder mystery. Yes, I think it was right here in this area. Okay, so I was running around doing that for weapons. I'm gonna go back over here to the Cafe Theater. I am playing a game. I'm playing. I'm playing ACU
Why?
because I want to. Is that good enough for you?
Uh-oh.
It's not.
Well, that's too hard for me.
It's too hard for you.
I
Man,
think it's not.
I'm kind of lagging a bit. I wonder
That's good.
if I wonder if I'm asking too much of my poor CPU.
That's a car.
Yep.
Afternoon, sir.
You hear the car alarm? Man, this lag. Hold on, I gotta solve this. Can't lag like that. It's too much. I bring up my task manager here and keep an eye on the system. This way I can get a better idea of what's causing
Look at
it.
this sorry sack of bastards. What are you in for?
I might have to just restart the game. Or computer, I mean.
Oh, merci. C'est un beau geste, assurément.
One more thing, I need to keep an eye on this. Alrighty, now. Train, what is that? Club hall. That's right, I already finished all of those. What about these? 4, 5, 4. Knock out the easy ones first. 5, 5, 5. Let's go finish this one up, I guess. Just for completion's sake. I want to get it all done. Do it all. I need to check my OBS settings, I guess. Because I'm noticing my bit rate is fluctuating wildly. And it should be set to a limit. And it is far exceeding that limit at times. Namely on the screen, the loading screens and such, where it doesn't have as much to render. Alright, I need to go upstairs. Alright. Something's up. What's eating my CPU cycles?
I'm not going to school anymore. Oh, what is on here? A bluffing!
Is there a bug on my back?
No.
Assassin's Creed is fairly CPU heavy. You want more cereal? Alright, 1 second there, everybody. I'll be right back. Here, let's finish this from yesterday. You got a Pop-Tart in here and cereals. Come here. Come here and eat that cereal. Come on. There's your cereal. Come on, buddy. Yes. You know, but you spilled it all over the couch. No. You spilled it all over the couch. I'm not going to spill it. You are. You already did. You okay? What? Snot? You need a chewy? Here. You need a wipey? Here. Yeah, let's get a wipey so you can wipe the snot off. Your helicopter submarine. Soda. 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 Delicious soda.
Kids don't get soda. I don't love soda.
Cola.
Cola.
Cola. Soda cola. Cola soda. Soda cola.
Soda cola.
Whichever way those words go, I can't remember. Alrighty,
Go!
let's see here. What can I do? Free up. I wonder if I have to have, probably have to have the Unity engine up. Maybe I can adjust the graphics again. I hate to do that. And I wonder why this newest update, the driver update, caused more issues. And if you don't want, let me see it.
Look. What's your name? That's your name is Daddy? On there?
Not on there.
Oh, no, I said on the game.
There you go.
On the game.
No.
See?
not dead. It's still very much alive.
Ah, ah! I want the phone.
No.
I want it.
Daddy's using it right now. Ooh, hold on one second.
Daddy. Daddy.
What? I love you.
I love it.
Oops. Fingers were on the wrong keys. Right. I need to go upstairs. There it's running a lot smoother now. We don't.
No.
If that was true, then why do you run the house all the time? Because Baylor does? Baylor's a dog. Uh-huh. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Then how come he has 4 legs? Yes, he does. Jeez, I'm still lagging. And this guy can run. Oh. I didn't get his feet. They look like pirates.
What are you doing, citizen?
I forgot. I need to go up here. So, is all this worth it? I can get up there. ready to go to the thing anyways.
Why? I'm gonna tell it. My tower charged.
Not yet.
Yes.
Hold on. I'll check it.
Look.
It is charged. There you go.
Yay. Charged. It's charged.
I'm not even sure what it was I just got out of that. Oh.
This is bad. Accept it. No. Come over here if you've any balls, yes.
Oh, really?
What?
I died.
Who's died?
J'espère qu'il n'est pas sujet au vertige.
Don't run.
I need to run.
Why?
Because time is precious. Oops.
Dans les ennuis.
Oops. I'm just gonna leave that. Alright, whatever. Oh, I need to go to the shop. Bonjour à vous. Come on.
Je vous souhaite la bienvenue.
L'heure est venue.
Not right now. In a little bit. Stop it. Right now. You don't pull on my clothes. No! Go. Boy, you're really trying my patience today. Lincoln, when I tell you something, I mean it. I'm not joking around with you. Excuse me, coming through. Get out of my way.
Wow, this is a surprise.
Daddy, what I got?
Yeah, I see. Is that mommy's robe belt?
No.
The belt to mommy's robe. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It sure is.
No. It's not. It's not.
Savoir de vos querelles. Laissez-moi la vie.
Pourquoi ce désordre? Je comprends bien. Un peu de calme.
Ma foi, il est impressionnant.
Mais que quelqu'un l'arrête! Garde! Allez!
Just clubbed that dude over the head and he was done. Just like that. Alright, now I'm going through here. No, I'm not. I'm going up these stairs. Don't point me out. I know exactly where I'm walking. Not exactly. I'm kind of guessing as I take every step, but I have a good understanding of where it is I'm going. Up. That right there is strange. Alright, so that's one lieutenant down. Or, yeah, one lieutenant down. Let's keep moving.
Un meurtre! Faites quelque chose! À l'aide!
Get back here, you brat! I got tenants. There! Je crois que je serai utile ailleurs. I'll slow you back.
Good patrol, officer. I'd say it was vicious, no less than you deserve.
living. Got him saved from the pot, still a better job. Foul smelling, Latin pouring, half-witted, ale guzzling.
Alright, so that house's missions are complete. Here's a murder mission. Here's some more of these. 4, 3, 1. Let's go solve these, or complete these missions. Maybe even pick up on the murder mystery while I'm in the area. No, I don't got a Pop-Tart. I got Juicy Burst. They're like Gushers, I guess. You wanna try some?
l'envoyer à Bicêtre.
Laissez-moi partir. Tout le monde devait être pétri d'honneur comme nous autres.
Non, non, on est dans une auberge ou à la bataille.
Madame Choisier.
I got him. I got him for you, lady. Chill out.
Quoi que j'ai pu faire? C'était sans malice. Je suis trop jeune pour mourir.
Whatever he said. Just like that. That was pretty easy. It's nice. I like money. Assassinate an unscrupulous noble in a theatrical way. The unscrupulous Duc de Browy uses his influence to have his rivals executed. He then takes possession of their properties. He is celebrating a success by hosting a theatrical performance at the Hotel de Soleil. Disrupt the performance and make a dramatic example of the Duke. Hooray for drama. How far away is this? 148. Not too far. Not as far as the last one. Good for you. So do I. I think I should try out this.
I'll pay you nothing for your lies.
Que faut-il? D'un petit vin exquis, on m'en donnerait des nouvelles. J'ai un ami de Prague qui possède une...
Who's killed you, Antoine? Something's not right.
Attention, les gens, faites place à la tragédie. Spectacle, écartez-vous.
Who's the guilty one then? Where are you?
Right here.
Pourquoi ce sera grave?
Really? Just that easy? Oh. All that for 250.
Par le mari.
Who terrorizes nuns? They're freaking nuns. As cold-hearted as some of them could seem, I guess. Whoa, what the hell? That was weird. Oh, come on. In the window, Arno. What the fuck, man? Arno, window. Thank you. Jesus.
va avoir une nouvelle.
Yoshida est sorti.
You're a joke.
Why the rush? I love that you get shit out of your phony arms.
Thief! Someone help me! He's a thief! Get him!
Qu'est-ce qui est arrivé?
Les marchandises, s'il vous plaît.
Tailored brigand bracers. I've already got the master brigand bracers.